that. So they're trying to unsubscribe from The Economist, and while they're trying to process that request, they're trying to pitch them on another service from The Economist, an app that does the same fucking thing, but in a different way. Who the fuck thinks that's a good idea? Oh, I see you want to leave The Economist. Well, have you thought of downloading The Economist app, our partner companion app? Well, here's why you should do it, and here's the cost for doing it. Would you like me to sign you up? I can do that real quick while I'm processing your unsubscribe request. It's a standalone app which you will have to download from your Play Store or App Store and use separately. I can switch you to the free trial espresso today. This offer will reduce your payment from $29.90. Jesus Christ, it's just ridiculous. I can't even keep reading it. It's so absurd. Anyway, I'm not going to keep ranting about this. You get the point. If you're offering a subscription service, offer an easy, convenient way to cancel it. That's it. That should be a actual law.
Please.
That if you have that, you must also have a way of getting rid of it.
More protections for consumers.
That's really about it. See ya.
More consumer protections. More consumer protections. More consumer protections, please. More consumer protections, please. Please, please, pretty please, please.
I'm about to start raining with my tears. I'm going to go on a passionate rant here, and it might ruffle a few feathers, but you know what? Facts don't care about your feelings, and I'm about to start spitting those. There are so many people.
I don't have spoons. Change it. I'm fucking busy.
For a moment. For actual years now, one of the most prevalent memes in the gaming community is how bad game journalists are at the games they review.
As you can fucking tell, I'm fucking sure. As you can clearly motherfucking see, I'm fucking busy.
There are so many players that are now leaving so many
Aggro your fucking dad. Come here, dad. Wait, what?
You either die a gamer,
there are too many dads now.
Yourself become a journalist. The shoe's on the other foot here.
Oh shit.
So now there's people just fucking moaning about it being too difficult and being upset about that. Now, contrary to what some Twitter rage bait engagement is trying to lead you to believe, not every bad review of the DLC is about it being too difficult and like soiling their diaper about it. There are some legitimate complaints about it. Like a lot of people are citing performance problems, like a lot of issues with the DLC itself from the performance side of things. I haven't had any problems personally, but if that is something people are experiencing, that's a very legitimate reason to leave it.
I'm not playing the DLC currently.
There's a ton of people leaving bad reviews about it. That is actually true. It's just
so I'll do it later.
There's so much to unpack here, and it's time for a little tough love. So I am a huge fan of Souls games. My favorite genre of video game is Souls.
To be fair,
I play all of them, not just like the FromSoft games, but all games in this genre. So even the super
on my top 7,
I try them all because I really love this genre of game. And Elden Ring is tied for my favorite Souls game in existence. It's tied with Bloodborne. And the DLC, I think, is extremely good. It's not perfect. There are legitimate complaints to have about it, but one of them is not the
It's cute, and it's the stark change one for me. Crab Souls for me is like the, all of them are,
as you collect these throughout the world, you'll get a boost to your
so many of them even follow like the Metroidvania kind of like deep veneered nashiness.
Whatever boss you're stuck on. Make like Marco Polo and explore the land collecting these sacred Dragon Balls here, so that way you can have an easier time with the bosses. Or you can subscribe to the ancient belief system and just get good. Just be better. Elden Ring is also a game, really every Souls game, has always been a series, really.
We've not buffed our health.
As you make it. There are broken builds that you can use, especially in Elden Ring. There's full-blown mechanics that are there to help you through difficult challenges. With summoning, you can just use a mimic tier to help you get through a boss. You don't have to go summonless. Like if you're struggling to a point that you're about to cast self-destruct like a Voltorb and leave an incendiary negative review on Steam because you can't beat the dancing lion, just use a fucking summon. You aren't good enough to do it without, clearly, and what are you trying to prove anyway? Just use a summon, get through the boss, and enjoy the game. Like it's not like
no, I have a summon right now. Oh no, I don't. They're dead.
Or whatever.
Well, I had a summon.
Use a summon in that case. Like I saw so many reviews saying like I refuse to summon, but I also can't beat any of these enemies, so this DLC fucking sucks. It's poorly designed. No, you're just trash. Like, you're just trash, and you're not able to reach the challenge you've set for yourself. So, how about instead of blaming the DLC for your shortcomings,
I'm just new to dragons, and we're trying this.
Scatter tree fragments and enjoy it.
Let's pepper them down, okay.
Some kind of torturous struggle. You're not held captive at Guantanamo Bay, forced to do a level 1 wretch playthrough of the Elden Ring DLC. It's supposed to be fun, and it is. It is difficult, but that's always been one of the big selling points of Souls games, that they're challenging. And people used to, again, spit on those that would insult the series for being hard. And now with this one, somehow the prevalent discussion has been about how it's too hard and they've gone too far this time. It's not just Steam reviews. I've actually seen streamers saying the same thing. Which is, it's blowing my mind. Like, I actually am shocked that we're at this point where everything needs to be so hand-holdy that now if you can't complete your challenge run of Elden Ring because the DLC is a little more brutal than what you're used to, It's the game's fault, and From Software fucked up.
Get good,
It's
fuckers!
stupid. It's
Stop
really
sucking
stupid. There
ass!
is built-in systems
Hi,
here
we're
to make
firm
it
believers
easier
of
for you.
just
You can also
fucking
use sorcery or something.
get
use
good at the game.
Fucking buffs, use summons. Like, there's so many options for you to get through this DLC. And just because
I
you're
didn't
struggling
even
through it,
consider
the
my
challenge you
summon
set for
not
yourself
being,
isn't the
like,
DLC's
a
fault.
dork.
There are real criticisms
Like,
for it, though.
because I
For
didn't need
instance,
their
I'm
help
going
to, like,
through this DLC,
aggro
and I play all
sometimes. I
of
don't
those
need
games
it, but it
I
helps. Like, I could
have
take it
the
better,
most
but, like,
optimal challenge imaginable,
if I want to figure out how
that's
something
the most
works,
fun for me in these
I can
kind of
drop a
games.
summon way
So
more
I've been
easy
doing
than,
a
like, I
punch-only
cannot.
build, and I've switched it to a punch and kick only build now with martial arts, and it's been extremely challenging and extremely rewarding. However, there have been 2 bosses so far that are actually not well made. One of them is Commander Gaius, Hog Rider. Hog Rider has 2 moves that come out where the hitboxes don't match the animations. So his charge, if you dodge it perfectly, sometimes you will still take the full impact, which often one-taps you, and also his, like, I don't even know what to call this move, where he like flails around randomly and like fucking throws his head around like he's headbanging at a fucking Bullet for My Valentine concert from 2006. That move will hit you pretty much anywhere unless you're in his butthole. So anything aside from his colon, you're still going to take damage from, even if
Chloe
you do roll it
Clay.
right, at least most of the time. And then the other boss that has 1 bad set of moves is Mesmer. I actually really like Mesmer. I think he's a very, very, very cool boss. Took me 27 tries, so far that is a boss that's taken me the most amount of tries in all of Elden Ring on my punch-only run. And he was fantastic, except for one thing. His phase 2, he summons snakes. The snake's hitboxes are so fucking janky. The snake hitboxes actually are almost non-functional sometimes, like in the worst possible way. Like what you're seeing doesn't match what you're experiencing. Like the snake will completely fucking miss you, but then you'll still get hit sometimes. So that was a bit of a headache. So there is some jankiness to it that you can criticize. But to be leaving such terrible reviews only because it's difficult is absolutely juvenile. That shit is so embarrassing. This is some of the best DLC I've played. FromSoft, I think, has always crushed it with their DLC, and this was no exception. I don't think it's the best DLC. I still like.
I mean, they've been fucking
DLC the most.
murder metal
I really
always.
appreciate this. This is the biggest
By the
DLC
fuck way.
I've ever played. I'm not a big DLC guy. I'd rather just get another game down the line as opposed to like a little snack of something I already enjoyed. I'd rather just get something else later that's bigger. But this DLC, I've already pumped like 15, 16 hours in, and I still haven't finished. I'm loving it. It's huge. It really does feel almost like an Elden Ring 1.5.
Fuck me.
Like it's that big. It has that much meat on its bones. The girth is impressive, and the music is beautiful. I love the new area. I love almost all of the new bosses, except
if I were really cool, I'd whip out a bow right now. I just don't have one equipped.
Bosses are mounted. I've already fought so many mounted bosses, and I think mounted enemies are kind of the lamest, because the movesets are pretty derivative, like they're pretty similar, and I just don't really like the way mounted enemies fight, because usually it's a spam these couple of moves, then run away, and you're forced to kind of chase them for the punish window, as opposed to getting a punish.
Don't regen, I'll fucking murder you.
Chase them to get a little punish, and I don't really like that much, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. I've been really loving the DLC, but absolutely hating the conversation around it in regards to the difficulty of it. I don't think it's too hard, but I have always said that the challenge of the Souls-like genre is something that's always going to be a bit restrictive to some people. Not everyone's going to appreciate that, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, if it's just not your cup of tea, that's totally fine to just say, like, hey, I don't really like the challenge of this, so it's not for me. That I have always understood.
Yeah, some people don't like their teeth kicked in.
Previous Souls games.
I love my teeth kicked in.
Just very understandable to not want a really big challenge. But for the Elden Ring DLC, these aren't just the normal, casual players coming in out of nowhere. The only way you get to the DLC is if you've already done a lot in the base game. So you should already be familiar with the challenge Elden Ring presents. Thus, going into the DLC, I really think you should have come in with the understanding that it's going to be hard. It shouldn't be hard. If it was anything less than difficult, it'd be very disappointing and a far cry from what made this genre so special in the first place.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've done anything,
like, we could die right now, and I'd be like, you know what? I had that coming.
Here. It's not too hard. You're making it harder on yourself.
We know what we're gonna do.
Collecting the material they put in here to make it easier, or not using certain mechanics to make it easier with summoning or sorceries or really strong weapons that have really good abilities. Like, there are so many options that you can use
like
here
using the
to
rock.
help you through the challenging portions
Dwayne
of this game. And
the
you can't start
rock.
pointing the fucking finger at the game itself.
Fuck
just because
you,
you're
bro.
refusing to do those things because you think it's beneath you or something, or maybe it's shameful. I don't really know. It's not the DLC's fault.
Yes!
In the most difficult way imaginable, and then be mad about that. You have all the power in the world not to. You can just use something
barely
better,
paid
or go
out,
get
cousin.
the static tree fragments. Like, you have
Where
so
is
many
this
options.
fucking...
So I really think it's a very weak
Where the
reason
fuck is this
to be,
cathedral?
leaving such terrible reviews of the DLC. Like I said, there are real reasons not to like it. Like, it's not perfect. Nothing ever is. A lot of reviews I've seen point to performance problems. I haven't had any performance problems, but if that is a prevalent issue with the DLC, then that's something that does make sense too. Like, that would be a reason to leave a negative review. Nothing wrong with that. It's just calling it too difficult is so silly. I can't believe we've reached this point now.
I mean, I suck ass, but I still like having fun. I like my teeth kicked in. Dope. Hi, you can hate me for it later. I'm gonna cut that as our third